Chosen one, before you scroll away, listen carefully because this message may challenge everything you thought you knew about timing, relationships, and divine connections. There is a reason your attention stopped here. There is a reason these words found you today. And there is a reason you need to hear this message all the way to the end. What you are about to discover is not just about love, it is about avoiding a dangerous trap that has caused countless people to miss what was meant for them. Many people spend years searching for answers about their future relationships. They imagine where the right person will come from, what they will look like, how they will appear, and when they will finally arrive. Over time, these expectations become so strong that they begin filtering every possibility through them. And that is exactly where the trap begins. The dangerous trap is expectation disguised as certainty. It convinces people that the right connection must arrive in a specific way. It tells them that their future must match the picture they have already created in their minds. It causes them to overlook opportunities, ignore meaningful encounters, and dismiss people simply because they do not fit a predetermined image. Chosen one. What if the person meant to enter your life is much closer than you realize? What if they are not where you expected them to be? What if the reason you have not recognized them yet is because you have been looking in the wrong direction? Many people assume that life-changing connections must arrive from distant places. They expect dramatic circumstances, extraordinary introductions, or perfect timing. But often, the most important people enter our lives through ordinary moments. The surprise is not always who they are, it is where they come from. The phrase, "their place will shock you," is not necessarily about geography. It is about perspective. It is about realizing that the connection you have been searching for may emerge from an area of life you never considered. It could come through an environment you overlooked. It could come through a circle of people you rarely pay attention to. It could arrive through a situation that initially seems unrelated to what you were hoping for. That is why awareness is so important in this season. There are people who miss meaningful opportunities because they become attached to specific expectations. They reject possibilities before giving them a chance to develop. They focus so much on where they think something should come from that they fail to recognize what is already unfolding around them. But this message is not telling you to chase every possibility. It is telling you to remain open while staying wise. There is a difference. Openness allows you to recognize opportunities. Wisdom allows you to evaluate them correctly. Chosen one, there is another reason this message is important. Before any significant connection enters your life, there is often a period of preparation. During this time, your focus is tested. Your patience is tested. Your expectations are tested. The purpose is not to punish you. The purpose is to help you develop the discernment necessary to recognize what belongs in your future. Sometimes the delay you experience is not because the connection is absent. Sometimes it is because growth is still taking place. The right opportunities require the right version of you. The right relationships require maturity, clarity, and emotional readiness. That is why you cannot afford to become distracted by loneliness, impatience, or comparison. These are some of the most common traps people fall into. They begin settling for temporary comfort instead of waiting for genuine alignment. They confuse attention with connection. They mistake availability for compatibility. Chosen one, if your soulmate is indeed closer than ever, the most important thing you can do right now is not search frantically. It is to prepare wisely. Continue growing. Continue learning. Continue becoming the person you are meant to be. The clearer your vision becomes, the easier it will be to recognize what is real when it arrives. Remember this, what is meant for you will not require you to abandon your values, lose your peace, or compromise your purpose. Real alignment strengthens your direction rather than distracting you from it. So stay alert, stay patient, stay open. The surprise may not be who they are. The surprise may be where they have been all along. And when the right moment comes, what once seemed unexpected will suddenly make perfect sense. Until then, avoid the trap of forcing answers before their time. Trust the process. Protect your peace, and continue walking forward with confidence, knowing that some of life's greatest blessings arrive from places we never expected to find them. Chosen one, why your soulmate is closer than you think is a truth that many people struggle to accept because the human mind naturally assumes that important things must be far away, difficult to reach, or hidden behind complicated circumstances. When people long for a meaningful connection, they often imagine that it will arrive someday in the distant future, after a dramatic change, a major life event, or a perfect sequence of circumstances. But life does not always operate according to those expectations. Sometimes the very thing you are searching for is already moving within your orbit, closer than you realize, while you remain focused on distant possibilities. This does not mean you have already identified the person or that every encounter is a sign. It means that opportunities often develop quietly before they become visible. Many connections begin long before they are recognized. Two people may cross paths, share experiences, or exist within similar environments without understanding the significance of those moments until much later. Looking back, they often realize that the connection was unfolding long before either of them understood its meaning. This is why patience is so important. If you constantly assume that fulfillment exists somewhere far away, you may overlook the value of what is already developing around you. The idea that your soulmate is closer than you think is not meant to create urgency or pressure. It is meant to encourage awareness. It is a reminder that life is not always preparing your future in distant places. Sometimes it is preparing it through ordinary days, familiar environments, and seemingly insignificant encounters. The challenge is remaining open enough to recognize possibilities without becoming consumed by expectation. Many people become so focused on finding someone that they stop focusing on becoming the person they are meant to be. Yet personal growth is often the very thing that allows meaningful connections to emerge naturally. As you continue developing wisdom, maturity, and self-understanding, you become better equipped to recognize genuine alignment when it appears. What is meant for your future may already be moving closer through circumstances you cannot yet see, quietly taking shape while you continue walking faithfully along your own path. Chosen one, the dangerous trap that delays divine connections is not always obvious, and that is what makes it so powerful. Most people assume that the greatest threat to a meaningful relationship is distance, bad timing, or a lack of opportunity. In reality, the most common obstacle is often found within the mind and heart, long before another person ever enters the picture. The trap begins when expectation becomes stronger than awareness. People create detailed visions of how their future connection should look, when it should happen, and who it should involve. Over time, these expectations become so deeply rooted that they start filtering every experience through them. Instead of seeing what is actually happening, they see only what matches the story they have already written in their minds. This creates a dangerous form of blindness. Genuine opportunities can appear, but they are overlooked because they do not fit the imagined plan. Meaningful conversations can occur, but they are dismissed because they arrive through unexpected circumstances. The trap grows even stronger when impatience enters the picture. When people become tired of waiting, they often lower their standards, ignore warning signs, or rush into situations simply to escape loneliness. In doing so, they trade long-term alignment for short-term comfort. What feels like progress may actually be a distraction pulling them away from something better. Another part of the trap is comparison. Watching other people find relationships can create pressure to force outcomes that are not ready. It can make you question your timing, doubt your path, and chase connections out of fear rather than wisdom. Chosen one, divine connections are not strengthened by pressure, they are strengthened by preparation. The more focused you become on your own growth, purpose, and emotional health, the less vulnerable you are to settling for what merely appears convenient. The trap delays people because it shifts their attention away from becoming ready and toward becoming desperate. Desperation clouds judgment while patience sharpens it. This season is not asking you to force anything into existence. It is asking you to remain open without becoming anxious, hopeful without becoming attached, and patient without becoming discouraged. When you learn to release unrealistic expectations and trust the process of growth, you create space for authentic connections to emerge naturally, without confusion, pressure, or the need to chase what is truly meant to find its way into your life. Chosen one, why their location will completely surprise you is not because it is necessarily far away or hidden from view, but because it exists outside the expectations you have been carrying. One of the greatest mistakes people make when thinking about future relationships is assuming they already know where important connections will come from. They create mental maps of possibility and unconsciously limit themselves to familiar patterns. They expect meaningful people to appear through certain places, certain social circles, certain routines, or certain circumstances. As a result, they become so focused on where they expect something to happen that they stop noticing where life is actually leading them. The surprise is often not the location itself, it is the realization that something significant was developing in a place you had overlooked. Sometimes the most meaningful connections emerge from environments that seem ordinary, unimportant, or unrelated to what you were seeking. It may be through a routine activity, a familiar setting, a casual introduction, or an unexpected opportunity that initially appears insignificant. Looking back, many people discover that the clues were present long before they recognized them. They simply were not paying attention because their focus was fixed elsewhere. This is why openness is so important. When expectations become rigid, they create blind spots. Opportunities can appear directly in front of you, yet remain invisible because they do not match the picture you already formed in your mind. The idea that their place will shock you is also a reminder that life often works beyond your predictions. The future is not limited by your assumptions. Some of the most transformative moments arrive through paths you never planned to walk. Chosen one, this message is not encouraging you to search obsessively for signs or to assume every encounter has hidden meaning. Instead, it is inviting you to remain aware of the possibility that important developments may arise from unexpected directions. The more attached you are to a specific outcome, the harder it becomes to recognize opportunities that arrive differently. But when you remain grounded, patient, and receptive, you create space for life to reveal possibilities you could not have imagined. The greatest surprise may not be where this connection comes from, but how naturally it fits into your life once you finally see it for what it is. Chosen one, the signs you've already crossed paths may be far more subtle than most people imagine. Many people expect important connections to arrive with dramatic moments, instant certainty, or unmistakable signals that leave no room for doubt. But life often works differently. Significant encounters frequently begin as ordinary moments that seem completely unremarkable at the time. A brief conversation, a shared environment, a passing introduction, or even a simple exchange can occur without either person realizing that it may hold future significance. The reason these moments are often overlooked is because people tend to recognize importance only after it has already revealed itself. Looking back, they begin connecting details that once seemed unrelated. They remember places they visited, people they met, and opportunities they almost ignored. Suddenly, what once appeared random begins to look meaningful. This does not mean every interaction is a hidden sign or that every familiar face is connected to your future. It simply means that life often unfolds gradually rather than dramatically. The signs you may have already crossed paths are not necessarily external clues pointing toward a specific person. They can also be signs within yourself. Perhaps you have recently become more aware of what truly matters to you. Perhaps your standards have changed, your priorities have shifted, or your understanding of relationships has matured. These internal changes are often just as important as external encounters because they prepare you to recognize opportunities that you might have missed in the past. Growth creates awareness, and awareness changes what you notice. Chosen one, many people spend so much time searching ahead that they fail to appreciate how much preparation has already taken place behind them. Every lesson, every disappointment, every unexpected experience has been shaping your perspective. The possibility that you have already crossed paths with someone significant is not meant to create obsession or speculation. It is meant to remind you that life is often working quietly beneath the surface. Connections do not always announce themselves when they begin. Sometimes they develop through timing, circumstance, and gradual understanding. What matters most is not trying to identify every possible sign, but continuing to grow into the person who can recognize genuine alignment when it becomes clear. The more present you are in your own journey, the more naturally you will notice what truly belongs in your future when the time is right. Chosen one, what must change before the connection happens is often not the circumstances around you, but the perspective within you. Many people spend years believing that the only thing standing between them and the relationship they desire is time, distance, or opportunity. They assume that once the right person appears, everything else will naturally fall into place. Yet meaningful connections rarely depend on another person alone. They depend on readiness. They depend on growth. They depend on becoming capable of recognizing, receiving, and sustaining what you have been asking for. This is why certain seasons of life feel focused on preparation rather than arrival. The change that must happen is not always dramatic. Sometimes it is a shift in mindset. Sometimes it is learning to release old expectations that no longer serve you. Sometimes it is healing from past disappointments so that previous experiences do not distort future opportunities. Many people unknowingly carry fears, assumptions, and emotional habits from past situations into new ones. Without realizing it, they begin evaluating every possibility through the lens of old pain. This creates barriers that prevent them from seeing people clearly. Growth requires the willingness to let go of what no longer belongs in your future. Another change that often needs to occur is the relationship you have with yourself. If your happiness depends entirely on someone else's presence, you may enter a connection looking for completion rather than partnership. Genuine alignment is strengthened when two people bring stability, self-awareness, and purpose into the relationship, rather than expecting the relationship to create those qualities for them. Chosen one, preparation is not punishment. It is a process that strengthens your ability to make wise decisions. Every lesson you learn now helps you avoid mistakes later. Every boundary you develop now protects your peace in the future. Every step of growth increases your ability to recognize the difference between genuine connection and temporary distraction. The connection you hope for is not just waiting for the right person to arrive, it is also waiting for the right version of you to emerge. As you continue becoming more aware, more grounded, and more aligned with your purpose, you create the conditions for something meaningful to develop naturally, without force, confusion, or unnecessary compromise, allowing the future to unfold from a place of clarity rather than longing. Chosen one, how to recognize them when the time comes, is a question that many people ask, yet the answer is often much simpler than they expect. Most people imagine that recognition will happen through a dramatic moment, an overwhelming feeling, or an instant certainty that removes all doubt. While strong emotions can sometimes accompany meaningful connections, genuine recognition is usually built on something deeper and more stable. It is not defined by excitement alone, but by the sense of clarity that develops over time. When the right person enters your life, you will not feel constant pressure to force understanding. Instead, there will be a natural progression that allows trust, respect, and awareness to grow steadily. One of the strongest signs is consistency. Many people can make a powerful first impression, but consistency reveals character. The right connection will not depend solely on words, promises, or temporary enthusiasm. It will be supported by actions that align with intentions over time. Another sign is peace. This does not mean there will never be challenges or differences. It means that beneath those challenges, there is a sense of stability rather than confusion. You will not constantly feel the need to decode every message, question every interaction, or search endlessly for reassurance. Genuine alignment tends to reduce unnecessary uncertainty rather than increase it. Recognition also comes through mutual growth. The right person will not distract you from your purpose. They will respect it. They will encourage the qualities that help you become stronger, wiser, and more authentic. Instead of creating chaos, they will create an environment where growth feels possible. Chosen one, another important sign is authenticity. You will feel less pressure to perform, impress, or become someone you are not. Real connection allows you to be honest about who you are without fear that honesty will drive the other person away. The greatest mistake people make is looking for perfection when they should be looking for alignment. No person will meet every expectation, but the right connection will reveal itself through trust, consistency, respect, and shared direction. When the time comes, recognition may not arrive as a lightning bolt of certainty. It may arrive as a quiet understanding that continues growing stronger with experience, showing you through reality rather than fantasy that something genuine is taking shape in a way that feels both natural and enduring. Here is a powerful conclusion and ending for the entire speech. Chosen one, as we come to the end of this message, remember that the greatest lesson was never simply about finding your soulmate. It was about becoming the person who can recognize what is real when it finally arrives. So many people spend their lives searching for answers outside themselves while overlooking the growth that is taking place within. They become consumed by questions about who, when, where, and how, yet the most important preparation often happens long before those answers are revealed. Throughout this message, you have been reminded that the dangerous trap is not distance, delay, or uncertainty. The dangerous trap is allowing impatience, unrealistic expectations, comparison, and fear to control your decisions. These distractions have caused countless people to overlook meaningful opportunities and settle for connections that were never aligned with their future. But you do not have to make the same mistake. If your soulmate is truly closer than ever, then your responsibility right now is not to chase, force, or obsess over possibilities. Your responsibility is to continue growing, healing, learning, and becoming stronger. Every lesson you embrace today is preparing you for tomorrow. Every challenge you overcome is shaping the wisdom you will need when the right connection appears. Every moment of patience is building the foundation for something more meaningful than you can currently imagine. And perhaps the biggest surprise will not be who this person is. Perhaps the biggest surprise will be where they have been all along. Life has a remarkable way of bringing people together through circumstances that seem ordinary at first. What appears insignificant today may become meaningful tomorrow. What feels like a simple encounter today may later reveal itself as part of a much larger story. That is why you must remain open without becoming desperate, hopeful without becoming attached, and patient without becoming discouraged. Trust that what is meant for you will never require you to abandon your peace, compromise your values, or lose sight of your purpose. Genuine alignment brings clarity, not confusion. It strengthens your direction instead of distracting you from it. So keep moving forward with confidence. Continue investing in your own growth. Continue protecting your peace. Continue trusting the process even when you cannot see the entire picture. The future does not need to be forced into existence. It unfolds one step at a time, often in ways that exceed every expectation. And if this message found you today, let it serve as a reminder that your story is still unfolding. The chapters ahead have not yet been written. The opportunities ahead have not yet been revealed. The connections ahead have not yet fully appeared. But what belongs in your life is already finding its way toward you. Stay ready, stay wise, stay patient. Because when the right connection finally arrives, you will not need to chase it endlessly or question it constantly. Its presence will bring understanding where there was uncertainty, peace where there was anxiety, and confidence where there was doubt. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of a season of preparation, growth, and expectation. Keep your eyes forward, keep your heart guarded, and keep your spirit strong. The surprise you have been waiting for may be closer than you think, and the best chapters of your story are still ahead.